Hi everyone, another Diablo 3 season is coming next Friday on the 5th of December. This is the Forbidden Archives theme. So I want to give you an overview, the tier list, just what you need to know in order to jump in and have a good time. Personally, I'm also planning to play this, probably for a little bit at least, like a day or two most likely, to do like a quick hardcore SSF solo 150 rush. And then we're probably going to move on to D4 and PoE 2, which are starting the following week most likely. So here we have the solo tier list. It's already updated. All of the tier lists are here. You can find them. I'm going to go into detail in a second. We also have the updated build guides, so you can go to the build guide section here. Most of them are already live. You can just click through the classes. You can see the season 37 tags. And then we also have the meta section here if you're looking for like especially group play, pushing, and these kind of things. This will also be updated very soon. The season theme, in case you don't know it, is from season 20. This is the Forbidden Archives theme, which is like one of the first season themes that really impacted the game in a way. It is a very simple one. It just says that now your Kanai's cube can have any items in any combination effectively. So you can have 3 weapons, you can have 3 rings. There's no restriction on 1 weapon, 1 jewelry, and 1 armor piece. So this is the main thing that this season does, which compared to, for example, the previous season theme is not really that crazy, but it does have some interesting applications. Before we continue with the video, I want to give a shout out to today's sponsor, boot.dev. They've created a platform that makes it easier than ever to get into programming and polish your skills. They believe that the easiest way to learn code is to make sure that you're never bored, and this is why they have designed their courses to feel more like a game and less like a chore. The only way to really get into programming is to get your hands busy and write a ton of code, and this is exactly what the tasks allow you to do without ever feeling like you're getting stuck, because they have tons of tools to help you out. In these courses, you're going to learn backend programming from start to finish in the Python and Go languages. You will earn XP, levels, achievements, and you can even rank on the global leaderboard if you really want to be competitive. And if you ever feel like you're stuck and you can't progress, they have Boots, the powerful bear wizard AI that helps you understand the problem and guides you towards a solution. Compared to attending a university course, Boot.dev is a way cheaper solution and allows you the flexibility of doing it all at your own pace and from home. They offer both a monthly and annual subscription, and you can cancel in the first 30 days, no questions asked. So if you really want to learn coding and that convinces you, then go check out boot.dev with the link in the description or the pinned comment below. And you get 25% off your first payment to boot.dev by clicking that link or using my code. And now let's go back to the video. We also have the updated Haedrig's Gift GR20 guide. So if you are looking for an easy season start, try to get your full set, here you can find all of the setups that work with nearly nothing in order to unlock this. We also have the leveling guide here, so I took another look at this, but nothing has really changed here. But you have the full step-by-step how to level up as fast as possible. You can do this in as little as an hour or less even, depending on which strategy you follow, which class you play, and how your RNG goes. But yeah, we have especially those two strategies here with either saving the challenge rift cache or opening the challenge rift cache, which means that either you can finish your Altar of Rites on the first weekend, or you have to wait until the second challenge rift. So you can follow this, and there's a lot of other information about what to gamble, cube, and for example which skills to use down here as well if you're looking for an easy time leveling up. But let's jump into the builds. So what happens with the Forbidden Archives theme? Well, everything goes down a lot, because we go from the strongest season theme to one of the weakest mostly. So this is mostly a necromancer season, as you can see. So everything here has 1 or 2 down arrows on our tier list, because most classes don't really benefit so much from just having another weapon in a cube. There are some builds where sometimes you get some pretty good stuff, like a real big multiplier, like another weapon. For example, wizards have a bunch of stuff where maybe they include something like a death wish in their build suddenly. But for example, the demon hunters, they don't really get anything on half the builds. And if they get something, it's like maybe a convention of elements at most or so. So it's not really so impactful in many cases, but there are also some builds that pop up especially during the season, that are usually not feasible. One such example would be Patterns of Justice, Tempest Rush, that can now run Shenlong in this season, because you can do the Shenlong weapons, and then you can have the other 2 fist weapons in the cube. So there are some setups like that exist that are still decently powerful, but in general, the soul shards were incredibly strong, buffing most builds between like 10 to 15 GR tiers or more. And the only class that kind of like stays at like a similar power level is the Necromancer. So you see here, the entire S tier is just Necromancers. So you have 5 different builds here with Nova, 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 and then Bone Spear and Army of the Dead. And those are just gonna rule everything. This also carries over to the group meta, for example, where in groups we're gonna see Nova Necros a lot, we're gonna see Ravma boss killers, we're gonna see even Pestilence boss killers. So that is a thing as well. And this is mostly about it. When it comes to speed farming, we also have rats, which are pretty good, that you can do like in early game, like gear up really quickly, and then most people will probably also transition over to GR 150 just meta setups, and effectively you just farm 150s while getting ranks, while getting XP, and this is what you're gonna do for the most part when it comes to group play. Now, there are some other candidates that are also decently powerful. So we have some wizard stuff here. So there's, for example, Twister, there's Meteor. So this is always just kind of decent. What I mentioned here with Deathwish, for example. So some of those wizard builds are saved by these really big cube powers. But yeah, for the most part, it's just everything goes down a lot, and some classes just don't really have much going for them. That being said though, with the open cube, you definitely have the option to kind of just try out some really funny and interesting combos. If you are looking forward to just cooking something of your own, you do have a lot more options suddenly, so this can also be quite fun. In general though, outside of the Necromancer class, it will be relatively tough for most people to achieve a solo 150 this season. So just something to keep in mind, if that is your goal, for example, then you're gonna have the easiest time on something like a Tragul, Nova, Necro or so. Like I'm expecting to do this in like the first day effectively when I do my hardcore Zeph rush. And I think that is not gonna be such a struggle. But yeah, outside of that, in terms of raw power, we don't really have that much going on the other classes. And just to show you what this looks like in our build guides, so we have the full like overview and the all of the little like details about gems, passive skills, and so on down here. And here is the season theme section where usually it is explained like what actually happened with this build compared to like a non-seasonal variant. So you can also see the cube options here. For example, the Necros, they have like weapon, 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 basically every single time. And this is why the Necros profit so much in this season theme, because they have really big weapons. They're very universal. So in that case, every build just gets some, double, triple, quadruple or something like that. From replacing some relatively useless armor piece, for example. It also means that in some cases the quality of life or the defenses go down significantly, so also something to keep in mind. You go up way higher tiers, so monsters become more dangerous, but also in some cases you lose some defenses that you would otherwise get. For example, on a Tragul Necro you would have something like a Mantle of Channeling, which at least gives you 25% DR, or you would have an Aquila if you want to be extra tanky, that is 50% DR. That is now gone. So also something to keep in mind, it kind of gets harder in this season, even though you are much more powerful. In terms of the Haedrig's gifts, so the classes that benefit the most here, I would say, are the Demon Hunter here. Shadow's Mantle is a very good starter setup, so that definitely works pretty well. But overall, I think this is generally one of the best Haedrig's rotations. So every class has like kind of something going for it, where you can like relatively easily get started in like at least Torment 6, Torment 8 or so once you get a set. And then as you build up more and more pieces that work with it, you can easily go higher. But yeah, Might of the Earth is kind of nice. There's like something like Leapquake, for example, or Seismic Slam you can do. Invoker is kind of decent. This is Sengoku here, which is also okay. Inarios is not really a great starter most of the time, so Necros usually go for just LOD, and you can play something like Mages, for example. It's like my recommendation. This is most likely what I will be doing. There's also like Autolands that you can transition to later. We have Jade Harvester, which is like okay for the Witch Doctors, and Firebirds, which is also relatively universal and relatively decent to get started, and has a very easy time actually like popping off, with even like the 2-set bonus actually helping you already. If you're looking for more tier lists, we have them up here, so you can check this out. So we have not just the solo push tier list, but there's also the key farm, bounty, XP, trash killer, and so on. So you can like look through that. But it is mostly what I just explained. We have Necros at the top, especially for like the high-end stuff. They're not really the fastest when it comes to like keys, for example. So this is usually like monk and like demon hunter territory. But yeah, you still have the option to, for example, farm solo XP relatively well as well, just because necros are so powerful and it can go so high. And it's overall still a pretty good class. But yeah, we do have like other candidates here on some of the other tier lists as well. So if you're not just looking for pushing through the highest tiers, but also maybe just blasting through the game, farming your paragons, there are some other options here. And that's already it for what I got to share here. So I hope you have a good start in season 37. So be there for the launch. I'll be blasting, and so let's see how this will go. I'm looking forward to blasting a little bit of Diablo 3 again, but yeah, we do have kind of very bad timing, unfortunately. I wish they would have started it a little bit earlier. For example, this week would have been kind of nice, so there's a bit of a bigger gap towards D4 and PoE. But it is what it is now. At least for like a weekend, I could imagine a lot of people want to jump in. So I hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for the remaining Maxwell updates, which are coming out over the next few days. Then we should have everything ready just in time for the season start. I wish you good luck, have fun in season 37. Like and subscribe. Go check out boot.dev, which I have linked down in the description and the pinned comment. And I'll see you guys next time.